Hey, 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 Nicole Roberts Jones here, and welcome to this episode of the Meaningful Work Podcast, an opportunity to level set, to get in alignment with God's assignment for your life, and really so that you live a life and have a career full of meaning and fulfillment. So, this is part four in a series that we have been doing this is now 4 weeks. It really started with our welcome episode to season two. So I'm going to do a quick review, but let me encourage you. The reason I keep these episodes to 30 minutes is I know you're busy. So my goal is to give you actionable insight in 30 minutes. But when I do a series, that means that really this could be a 2 hour training, a 4 hour training, but I give it to you in nuggets so that I stay to my 30 minutes. Now, sometimes I might go over a little 30, 35, 40, but I keep it short because I want you to be able to walk away and then implement and then come back and implement the next. All right. So, with that, again, we're in a series. The series is called The Four Pillars to Lead with Ambition. For those of you that are just starting with this episode, let me say something I said in episode, the first of the pillars, when we did pillar number one. Listen, most people by February or March, 80%, this is, I didn't make this up, I found a study. 80% of people have either forgotten about their New Year's resolutions, have stopped doing the things they said they were going to do, and anywhere in between. So we're not doing New Year's resolutions. My goal is to help you create a plan of action for what you really, really want this year. So whether you're watching me now in March as this is going live, or you're watching me in May, or you're watching me in November, I want you to be clear on the action that you take to go after what's next for you, not for who you already are and what you're already doing. You have that unlocked. You've been doing that. That's great. But there's always another level that God is seeking for you to move forward. All right. So, with that, four pillars. So, let me do a quick review on pillars 1 through 3. So, pillar number one, to get a promotion, and you got to be clear whether you want one now or you want one in the future. So, in that episode, I walked you through your promotion playbook. Okay. So, if you missed that, go back and watch it. But then what you've got to determine is it an internal growth move, which is a promotion, or is it an external move altogether? So, again, are you looking to make an internal growth kind of thing, which is a promotion, or an external move? An external move moved us in pillar number 2. 4 signs it's time for a career change. I walked you through in that episode. Again, 4 signs it's time for a career change, right? And then I give you the 5 tips for making the career move that you want to make. All right. So that was pillar 2. I'm going quick, y'all, because I got so much to give you here in pillar 4. Pillar 3, I talked about, and I really walked you through the 4 steps that you need to go after leadership growth and impact. And it's not just for this year. This is, I humbly tell you, I don't want to say playbook again, but the strategy, let's say that, to grow year over year, quarter over quarter in your career and in your life. So if you missed any of those first 3 parts, I want to encourage you to go and back and watch it. Okay. So now we're at pillar 4, where we talk about personal well-being and work-life integration. I think so many of us work on our career and work on our career and work on our career, but we leave ourself behind, and your career will never outgrow you. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. Your career will never outgrow you. So wherever you're stuck, your career is stuck there also. So listen, as I was preparing for this, I watched the movie, the Lifetime movie. I think it's called Be Happy. I wrote it somewhere in my notes. Be Happy it is, by it was a Mary J. Blige movie. Y'all remember that song, Be Happy? Let me not try to sing because I cannot sing, by Mary J. Blige. She did a movie. If you didn't see it, Tisha Campbell starred in a good movie. But that movie asked a question that I'm going to ask you here, which is, what do you really, really want? Now, there's so much I can pour into you around this conversation. And let me just encourage you. Last season, I walked you through in 2 episodes called Work-Life Hacks, Work-Life Balance Hacks. I think that's what that episode was called. Of course, I didn't write that down on here. Work-Life Balance Hacks. I'll put it in the show notes. I'm going to quickly walk you through what I taught in that. And guess what? I'm not going to teach that again. I'm going to add to it. So if this is an area where you're really struggling with, I want to encourage you to go back and watch that 2-part series. All right. So listen, in that series, I walked you through the 4 principles to equalize your life. I call it equalize because there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's not. 4 principles here. Be here now. What story are you telling yourself, and really how to let it go? Set aside time to do what you what's important to you and find ways to incorporate peace of mind in your life. Plus, I give you a bonus principle, which is no is a complete sentence. I am going to touch on that a little bit today. So that was in part one. Then in part two, I walked you through a wheel of life exercise to really assess where you are in your life and the areas that you're weak in so you can bring them up. Remember, I talked about that. And then we focused on the 4 areas that you should always be setting goals in. So as we begin this conversation and we look at these 4 areas, and again, I'm not going to teach what I taught in work-life balance hacks. I'm going to expand on it and go dive even deeper. So go watch that if you need more of this. These are the 4 areas I'm always going to focus on: mental health and spiritual health, relationships, physical health and wellness, career, and finances. All of that makes you whole and complete. I did 4. I could have broken mental health in its own. I could have put spiritual health. I could break relationships into romantic and family relationships. So you make your areas the way you need to if you need to deep dive even further. Physical health, those of you that say, what does that mean? It's like where you live. If you love where you live. So I'll give you a great example. I'm a city girl. So when my husband and I moved to the DMV, I was really trying to live in DC. My husband was not. So we make compromises. I actually love where we live because I found what I loved about this physical location. That could be a whole episode by itself. Okay. And your wellness. Okay. So your physical health can be your body and it can also be your physical location, which also helps in your mental health. Y'all get all of that? Okay. So again, our conversation for today is, what do I want for me? The reason I love that Mary J. Blige movie is it began to explore a conversation that I think so many successful women leave behind. You know, we are so busy taking care of ourselves or focus on our career. And when you're an executive, even focusing on your team, that you leave yourself behind. You know, it even on an airplane, when they start to tell you how to prepare in case we crash, what do they tell you to do? They tell you to put the mask on yourself first before you help anybody else put their mask on. So you've got to really begin to look at and have an honest conversation with yourself. What do you want? And as you answer these questions, there things come up, and I'm going to talk about that really, but this is the foundation to the conversation I'm having with you today. Okay. What do you want? Maybe you're trying to find yourself again after divorce, or maybe your kids have gone off to college, or maybe you're trying to find yourself again after menopause. I know that menopause one is me. Y'all hear me talk about my health all the time. Yeah, I'm in that menopause stuff. So what is it that you want in this new place that you're in? Maybe now that you have this new job, new position, new executive level in another company, and it's totally different, the culture is different, and you've had to shift how you be. Whatever that is, I want you to dare ask yourself that question. See, the key is to make yourself a priority. You got to make yourself a priority. And you got to treat self-care as non-negotiable. Because how do you do the thing that you want to do, and really, dare I say, that you're called to do, if you aren't even capable? You don't have the energy, the stamina, the space in your calendar, and go on to be able to do it. So many people ask me, how are you able to continue to do your podcast and you now have a full-time job? Hello. So go back and watch my Equalize Your Life, because I walk you through how I set my schedule up, and I schedule these as well. But again, you don't have to leave anything behind. Here's what, as I started researching for this episode, studies show women executives who prioritize self-care are more productive, have better mental health, and report higher life satisfaction. That's why this conversation is so important. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, the APA, women who practiced regular self-care reported a 31% increase in perceived career business success compared to those who didn't. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through specific strategies for maintaining your well-being. And some of these, don't think, oh, I'm already doing that. I want you to really take some time and look at these 4 areas. The first one is reclaim your day. Now, talk about how to prioritize your day and how to prioritize your times. I'll talk about that in the other, again, go back and watch Work-Life Balance Hacks. I'm not going to talk about that today. But what I am going to add to that is you've got to schedule me time that's only for you. So you need to have Jesus time too. But in addition to Jesus time, or however your spiritual, I call it Jesus time, by the way, in my schedule. But what's time for you? Every night I take a hot bath. That's me time. I read. I have journal time with God in the morning, but then I also read. I was reading a study that said leaders read at least 2 hours a day. Now I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I can't carve out 2 hours a day. I try to at least get an hour a day in. But you got to schedule time for you. Then the second thing you got to do is set firm boundaries. So here's a great example. If my husband watches this episode, ooh, he could be mad at me, but anyway, I'm gonna tell the truth. So when I first started working from home, this was years ago, way before COVID, my husband would call me almost every day and ask me, "Can you go to the cleaners? Can you like I was his personal assistant?" I said it. I did. So instead of starting an argument saying, "Who you think I am?" and no, 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 I didn't do any of that. I stopped answering his phone calls. The phone would ring. I wouldn't answer. I text him after that, say, "What's up?" And he go, "Oh, are you busy? Yeah, what you need?" "Oh, okay." And he go, "Oh, never mind. I'll do it." See, I set a boundary. He didn't realize I did, but I did. So sometimes you've got to be willing to set a boundary. And I know we talked about this in work life balance hacks. No is a complete sentence, but sometimes you can't say no. How can you set a boundary and not even have to say a word to set a boundary? Because sometimes saying no can start an argument. So even dare I say that when my boss at this is a job in at another college in 2012 is when I left that job. I remember he always used to try to call, and he knew that I had my own business, and I was a, uh, adjunct professor at the time. Trying to remember, I've had so many university jobs, and he would always try to set a time on the days that he knew I'd be in the office, and he'd always try to set a meeting at a time where he knew, like if I used to use my lunch hour for my clients, so I never said no when he would try to do a lunch meeting, or I would say I can't do that time, but I can do it this time. So I was setting a boundary and he did not know it. Y'all get that? And then the next thing you got to do is delegate ruthlessly. Many of you as executive women have so many things on your plate, there's no way you're going to get things done. Listen, I'm in the middle of a huge project myself right now, and I sat in overwhelm for about 2 days. And then in the middle of the night, what dropped in my spirit, which I know was God, was to hire a consultant. Woo! Hired her the next day because I had already met with her and I forgot about her because I got busy. So it doesn't make you look like you are less capable when you bring in team that are capable. You can get more done with a group of people than one. Listen, if you could only use if you're looking at me, those of you, by the way, if you're not watching, you know there's slides, those of you that are not here on YouTube with me, nrjnetwork.com. But listen, my hand is up. My thumb doesn't do what the pinky does. And I can go through all of them. So I need my thumb as much as I need my pinky. Were there times when you delegate that if I gave somebody else the work that my thumb was doing, I'd free up my thumb? Y'all get that? So in order to reclaim your day, you got to look at what are the things that are blocking you from being able to do the things that you know you really want to do, really are great at. There are some things that you could delegate that you have no business doing. Come on, somebody. And then the last thing you got to do here is create space for being time. Now, if you've been around me, you've heard me talk about this. We are human beings. They call us human beings, but we're not. We're human doings because we focus so much on what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do to get a raise? What do I need to do to make that shift? What do I need to do? And we leave out sitting in our being. So this is a concept I teach my clients is be, do, have. You got to be and do to have all that you want. And many of us just do to get to have. And we wonder why the have's not coming. I'm gonna tell you when I was stressed about the big event that I'm working on right now, I sat in my being. And that's when it dropped in my spirit about hiring the consultant. I would have never gotten that in my busyness of do. God's not showing up in your busy. He's not. He gonna let you be busy. Like he let the children of Israel walk around the same mountain for 40 years. Oh, he gonna let you be busy until you sit in quiet contemplation and let him speak to your soul. I go on and on with that. We're gonna leave that there, right? So in order to have the being time, you got to schedule white space on your calendar, meaning this is me time. Nobody else can take that time. So I'll put MFW in my calendar, Meaningful Work Podcast. That's my space to work on this. Or I write NRJ, my initials. And then you got to create a morning ritual. Like if I don't work out in the morning, I know it's not going to happen. Two things I have to do in the morning is Jesus time and work out. Two things that I have to do. And I have it kind of in a ritual because when I don't do it, I forget to do something. So when you begin to make it a ritual, it's easier to do. It's easier for me to get up in the morning. Now that I'm used to having to get, listen, I used to get up at 7. Now I have to get up at, well, I was doing 5:30. 5:30 wasn't working, y'all. I was like, now I wanted to get up. So I said, okay, let me see if I can do this at 6. So I get up at 6, I work out, and I have a Jesus time, and I still get to work on time. Makes me just hustle faster, getting dressed. All right. So that's really you creating that space for you and reclaiming your day. Now you've got to have resilience rituals. Listen, if you're going to have the energy and stamina, I said this a little while ago, to do the thing that you know you're crafted and created to do, you've got to, number one, prioritize sleep. Sleep is important. So don't say, oh, I'm going to stay up extra late and work on this project and let your sleep go. Listen, I get at least 7 hours. I would like to say 8, but menopause does not let me. I get 7 for sure. I try to lay there for another hour, but you've got to put sleep on your calendar like it is a priority. Next, you've got to nourish your body. So one of the things I've learned, y'all, and this is hard because I love anything, cakes, cookies, chips. But listen, what I put in my body is it either gives me energy or it takes away my energy. So even if I have a piece of cake right now, I'm going to be on a sugar high, but at the end of the day, I'm going to sugar crash, and then I'm going to gain weight and I'm going to be mad and I'm going to yada, yada, yada. So you've got to be clear on what works in your body, right? So pay attention to your body. So the reason I know my sugar thing is I started paying attention to when I eat sugar, how I feel. And then when I'm really tired at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I eat today? Oh, I had that cookie. This is for me, y'all. Everybody's different. And by the way, as I share these tips with you, I don't want you to think I have arrived and I'm perfect, because I am not. Matter of fact, I had some chips over the weekend and I'm feeling myself, feeling the extra weight I gained because I ate all those chips over the weekend, right? So I too am learning as I'm teaching. I learn the things I share with you, but I'm still in the process of having to create rituals for myself. So if I stop, even dare I say, can I keep it real? Drinking wine limits my sleep during the week. And COVID, I got this bad habit of at least having 1 glass of wine a day. I realized that wine was keeping me from sleeping well. So now I only let myself have wine on the weekends. Or if I, have a dinner meeting or something with a colleague, I try to only have 1 glass. I say try, because sometimes I cheat and have 2. But it's not an everyday thing anymore. Not if I'm going to prioritize sleep. You've got to know you only have one body. You've got to do things like go to the doctor, get your checkups, do all the things you've got to do so that you are keeping this engine. Listen, we take our cars to get tuned up. We take our cars to get tuned up, but how come we don't ever tune up our bodies? What is that about? Just saying. All right. So now we're moving to our third area, inner upgrade. So you got to reclaim your day, resilience rituals, and then an inner upgrade. Listen, some of my computer just went off. You guys just heard it probably. You know how our computers, we have to upgrade the system every now and then so that it runs well? Well, you've got to do the same thing with your mind. So I talked about overcoming barriers in pillar number 3. This is the next level to that. Because if you don't take the minute to upgrade how you see things, look at things, your viewpoint. Because dare I say, listen, the enemy is going to try to stop you, especially when you are powerful and you're ready to do powerful things in this world. Oh, he's going to try to stop you any way he can. 9 times out of 10, it's through your mindset. There's a great book by Joyce Meyer called Battlefield of the Mind. If this is something you're dealing with, go buy that book. It's so good. I read this book years ago, but I knew that was my major culprit, Battlefield of the Mind. So the first thing you've got to do if you're going to integrate or upgrade your inner, if you're going to upgrade your inner self, if you're going to have an inner upgrade, you've got to learn to let go. The number of women that I talk to, matter of fact, I remember coaching a client who was mad and funky and bitter. And she wasn't mad at her boss. She kept being frustrated because she wasn't getting a raise, but she was coming to work funky and bitter, really because her life wasn't working. So when you take time to let go of maybe feeling guilt. Sorry, I don't know how that T went to that next line, but y'all know that's guilt. Maybe you feel guilty because you're spending all these hours at work. So how do you shift that? And stop letting yourself feel guilty. Again, remember I said this earlier. Maybe you need to delegate. Hire a nanny so you can be there for your children so that your nanny can pick your kids up, they can cook and do all the things, and then you can come home and you can be there for your kids. Or maybe you need to have a conversation with your kids. Talked about this in work-life balance hacks. See, you feeling guilty just makes you that negative feeling pulls down your day. So how do you let it go? Have a conversation, you hire help, you do what you have to do to let go of, or is it a conversation you need to have to ask for an apology because there's something you did? Whatever that is, if you're going to upgrade your inner self, you've got to learn to let go of guilt. The second thing, you've got to let go of how or why. Listen, when someone gets a promotion over you, if you stay stuck on why they got it and you didn't get it, you just replay that over and over and over. It's like it's on repeat. It's a Verizon network in your mind, right? So then you stay stuck in a negative place. You can't be bitter and blessed at the same time. Come on, somebody. You can't be bitter that somebody else got the job and you didn't. And God can't bless the bitter because you're in a negative place. You know, I call this it's like driving up to a review. It's like driving up to listen. Let me just say the whole story. Listen, when I'm cheating, because I have a cheat meal, y'all just heard me, and I go get my favorite, which is a fillet of fish. Don't judge me at McDonald's. And I drive up to the review mirror. Review mirror. I drive up to place my order. I place my order. So you got to place your order and trust that God is going to actually fulfill it. See, when I place my order, I don't figure out, well, I wonder if they have filet. I wonder if they have the special sauce today. I wonder if they have the bread, because, I eat all those things. I never wonder any of that. I place my order and then I drive to the next window and get it. Many of us are so stuck on how something's going to happen that we're in our own way. When you find yourself stuck in guilt or how or why, sit in your being time and really allow yourself to process what's coming up for you and why, so you can release it. You can't answer the why for anybody else, but you can answer the why for you. Why you're letting yourself stay stuck there, why you're wallowing in it, why you're forgetting how phenomenal you are. And if you got overlooked for a promotion, that's their problem, not yours. Or maybe there's some areas you need to grow in. Hello, pillar number 3, right? So a couple of things I want you to think about. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? Isaiah 43:19. Listen, if God is going to do something new, it's not going to be based on the old. Yes, you've learned some lessons, you've grown, but you've got to shift how you see that. So listen, y'all know I looked this up in my favorite Tony Evans study Bible, and listen. So Isaiah repeated God's promise to bring his people out of captivity in Babylon. Now listen, Isaiah was one of the first 4 major prophets before Jeremiah and Daniel and anybody else. He was the first. Okay. So what he's saying to the children of Israel, the promise he's reminding them of their exodus from Egypt when God saved their forefathers and led them through the wilderness. He's saying, look, I'm about to do something new. Even now it is coming. Do you not see it? Indeed, I will make a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. I didn't put that part in there. So God can't listen. Let me say it to you this way. This is Mark 2:22. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins, or else the new wine bursts the wineskins. The wine is spilled, and the wineskins are ruined. But new wine must be put into new wineskins. The same thing is when you're asking for God to do something new, maybe bigger than where you already are in a different way, then you can't look at it from the way you did previously. So if I'm asking God for a promotion, I can't look at how I got my promotion in the past. That more than likely is not going to work. Or if I'm going through a divorce and I know I want to get married again, I can't look at my next husband through the lenses of my previous husband. Come on, somebody. Some of y'all just needed that today. Because yes, maybe he treated you horribly in all the things, but it doesn't mean the next man, and all men are not that man. So you got to put new wine into new wineskins. You got to shift and renew your mind. This is Romans 12:2. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Now, listen, I could teach on this for the rest of the next, for at least 30 more minutes. But here's what I want you to get from this Bible verse. Do not be conformed. So the world might say, oh, all men are dogs. Mm-mm. Oh, how could your boss overlook you? Mm-mm. Sometimes I've realized when things have not happened the way that I think they should have happened, I see that God has a bigger blessing that he had already waiting for me that I didn't even know was there. And that I would not have been able to receive had I gotten this other thing I really wanted. So you start to transform how you see things, how you receive things, how you learn from things. It allows you to upgrade your mindset around it. So this is all about you having an inner upgrade. And then for some of you, you may need to create support around it. Maybe sometimes you need a friend to call you out. I remember when I first started to work on who who I be and how I approach things. I asked one of my girlfriends, please call me out when you see me being negative. Because you get so used to being a certain way or talking a certain way or doing certain things. Sometimes you might need a support system to help you there. This also allows you, again, inner upgrade. When I talked about letting go of feeling guilty, creating a support system may help you with that guilt thing you feel. If you feel overwhelmed, all the things, listen, stop feeling like you have to be everything to everyone, because then that means you're nothing to no one. And get the support you need. So that was the first four: reclaim your day, resilience rituals, and inner upgrade. The last one here is victory pause and self applause. You got to take a victory pause and give yourself some self applause. If nobody else is clapping for you, you clap for you. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. We often do not celebrate who we already are. We forget the great things we've already done. So, homework here: create an already done list. Take a sheet of paper out and write all the things you've already done. And when you accomplish something in your goals this year, write it on your already done list and then celebrate yourself. Stop waiting for somebody else to applaud you and celebrate you, and you celebrate you. What I used to always do when I was celebrating me is take myself out to a nice dinner. Now I might treat myself to something like a massage or some kind of body treatment. But whatever that might look like for you, and it doesn't have to be monetary. Sometimes, listen, you might take a nice long sit outside in nature. I do that too when the weather's right, when I'm at the right time of the year. We'll do that right now. So whatever that is for you, sit and applaud yourself. Listen, as Niecy Nash and Snoop Dogg said, both of them said, I want to thank me when they won awards. I want to thank me for being there for me, for having my back, for believing in me. To celebrate you because you're doing this work. And every time you hit a milestone, celebrate your own doggone self. Right? So that's the four parts: the specific strategies for maintaining your well being. Again, I'm going to encourage you, if you didn't watch Work Life Balance Hacks Part 1 and 2, go back and watch that episode. I went way deeper into how to manage your time, way deeper onto in the four areas to equalize your life. And I call it equalize because, listen, on a radio, what you want may be different than what I want. So life should be equalized so that it's fit, tailored for you. So you begin to get clear on making the plan to get to all that you want this year. Go back. Is it to get a promotion? Is it to make a career transition? One or the other. And if it's not, why are you wanting to stay still? Is it because you just want to focus on growing this year, your leadership growth and impact? And guess what? Pillar 3 and 4 should always be top priority, no matter what. Leadership growth and impact and personal well-being, or work-life integration. And the reason I wrote or work-life integration is this: you've got to integrate parts of your being time into your work life. So like, for instance, the first hour of my day, I don't schedule anything. So I get in my office and I can organize my day. So that's my business being time. That first hour, 9 to 10, no meetings, period. I get to work about 8:45. I do that on purpose so I can take the time to organize myself. I can catch up on my emails I missed the day before, et cetera, et cetera. You've got to be clear on what is it that you need to feel fully complete. And then start to make the plan, ladies, and a few good men that listen. You've got to make your plan from all the things we talked about in all 4 parts of this series. And listen, if it scares you, then good. Good, your plan scares you. That means you're playing bigger than you've ever played before. And let me applaud you for choosing you, for playing big, and for choosing God and trusting God. See, God always would give you a dream, a goal, a gift that's bigger than who you already are. And if he hasn't yet, that's because you're playing small. And I don't serve a small God. So if he's going to do abundantly above all you could ever ask or think, then look for it and expect it and get in alignment to receive it. And doing these 4 pieces that I've walked you through in this series will do just that. Listen, it's always my honor and privilege to pour into you. I can't wait to pour more into you all year long. And I want to give a shout out to Danielle, who gave me all this insight while we were waiting to go into a luncheon. She pulled me to the side and said, "Oh my God, I love your podcast. Here are some conversations you should have." Wrote them all down. And yes, Danielle, this is part of this was Danielle. And there's some other episodes that are coming up thanks to Miss Danielle. So if you, like Danielle, have some insights, some things that that we should talk about here on the podcast, send me an email. info@NicoleRobertsJones.com is where you email us. info@NicoleRobertsJones.com. Write in the subject of that email, podcast topic. Even if it's a question, so if there's some way that I can support you in your journey professionally and personally, where the two meet, because listen, your business, your career can never outgrow you. Please let me know. Whether I teach or bring a guest in, I'm happy to serve you. All right. So with that said, it's my honor and privilege always to pour into each episode. Number 1, I want to hear your takeaways, your aha moments. Please post comments here if you're here in YouTube. But if you're listening to me on one of your favorite audio podcast places, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever that might be, come on over to my Instagram and comment on the social square for this episode. I want to hear your takeaways. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. I want to hear what you're learning, how you're growing. That's number 1. Number 2, share. I ask you to share because there are other people in your network that need this insight. And it also helps me expand my reach so that I grow and I stay aligned to God's assignment for my life, which is this podcast. And then number 3, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you're notified when we go live every week. All right. So with that, I look forward to hearing your insight. I look forward to hearing your takeaways. And I'll see you next time for the Meaningful Work Podcast. Bye, y'all.